Sri Raghavan was born in 1954 to Gopiwallabha Iyengar, and he holds a bachelor's degree in commerce and a degree in law. He passed out of Renukacharya Law College with distinction. He enrolled as an advocate in 1976. He has extensively practiced in diverse fields of law, including constitutional, commercial, corporate, indirect tax. He is an arguing counsel and has appeared before several high courts and the Honorable Supreme Court and various tribunals across the country. Mr. Raghavan commands a large practice and is much sought after counsel in the complex litigations before the courts, tribunals, and also before arbitrations. He has appeared before the arbitral tribunal within and outside the country, both in domestic and international. He was designated as a senior counsel by the High Court of Karnataka in 2008. He has been recognized by the chambers and partner in their Asia Pacific 2023 guide as having earned praise for his advocacy. Apart from this illustrious and distinguished career, as a non-professional, Mr. Raghavan is actively involved in cultural and education fields. He is the chairman of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, Bangalore, and also the chairman of the Bhavan's BBMP school in Bangalore. They say that there's nothing like creation. So today, sir, we will have to be creating some good content for our advocates, both who are practicing, non-practicing, and everyone else. So we'll discuss on various issues, sir.
Sure. See, first, I think we should focus on the importance of acquisition of knowledge. Practice of the legal profession is not only for the purpose of exhibiting your brilliance. Now, this is a very important aspect of being a good human being, which according to me, as I just said a few minutes ago, is the basic qualification to be a lawyer.
Greetings from Vakeela Vaahini. I've gathered here again for another beautiful podcast. Vakeela Vaahini is a bilingual monthly magazines for advocates and by advocates. Today we have with us KG Raghavan, a respected senior advocate who appears predominantly in High Court of Karnataka, but he's seen everywhere else in the country in all high courts and Supreme Court as well. So welcome to this podcast.
Thank you very much, Anuradha. I mean, I share your views about Vakeela Vaahini. Whenever I saw this magazine, I told myself, lot of information is available in this magazine, not only about lawyers, not only about legal subjects. There are so many things said about and which covers several events that have happened in Bangalore and outside Bangalore.
And the High Court also.
And the High Court also. So that's the beauty of this magazine. And I really compliment all those who are behind this magazine, more particularly Mr. Hegde and his team, for spending so much of time on getting a beautiful
It's a 24/7 work for them.
Yes, and all of them are such busy lawyers, and amidst all that, you know how it is for a lawyer to find time
to do it. And sir, what I want to add here, sir, if you remember, we never had any magazines for advocates as such in the High Court, except one communique used to come.
Yes.
I don't know if you, I think now that's also stopped for quite some time, more than a decade and a half.
Quite right.
So I think we are such a huge lot. We are 4 lakh advocates today in Karnataka who are enrolled. And I believe last 2 weeks ago, the enrollment crossed 50,000 for this year. So advocates are coming more and more, so we should at least know about it.
Absolutely. So, not only is it serving the cause of spreading information about advocates and events, as you will agree with me, Anuradha, this profession is based upon acquisition of knowledge.
Yes, sir.
Now, how does one share knowledge? Sharing of knowledge is critical if we have to
channelize it in a proper way.
Absolutely. And advance the cause of our client.
Thank you, sir.
And therefore, this magazine serves that purpose. It tells you the latest judgments that have been rendered. It has some beautiful, well-researched articles by very respected lawyers.
And young lawyers
also. All that is there.
So that's another reason also why I felt I should have some valuable inputs and feel good that we are doing for a good right
Absolutely.
cause. And sir, they say that there's nothing like creation. So today, sir, we will have to be creating some good content for our advocates, both who are practicing, non-practicing, and everyone else. So we will discuss on various issues, sir.
Sure. See, first, I think we should focus on the importance of acquisition of knowledge.
Please, sir.
So far as this profession is concerned.
Please, sir, whatever you want to say.
Without that,
please,
everything else will in due time fall apart.
Yes, sir.
It'll all be by the wayside unless a lawyer focuses and spends enough time
to acquire knowledge.
And today, acquisition of knowledge, there are so many sources from which you can acquire knowledge.
Yes, they're all on your fingertips.
All on your fingertips.
Yes.
But, very important, according to me, I may sound a little old-fashioned, but I don't think I'm wrong, even in the 21st century, that reading habit is a very important aspect of a lawyer's life. You should be able to have a book in your hand and read, not only use technology for the purpose of just getting some information that you want. You should be able to read a book, you should be able to understand what the author is saying, form your own thoughts about what the author is saying.
Enriching your own inner self. Then only you will be able to put it across wherever, whether it is in a conference, whether it is a presentation in court, wherever it is.
Whatever.
Yes, sir,
And independent of whether that knowledge is useful or not, it should become part of your personality.
Okay.
That is a lawyer. We are not traders.
Yeah,
we are not merchants. We are a profession. What is the difference between a trader or a merchant on the one hand and a professional on the other?
I think it's knowledge only, sir. Communication of knowledge.
Plus, a trader thinks he is a success if he or she has bought something for 10 rupees and sold it for 12 rupees.
Yes.
So 2 rupees.
A profit.
Is that all the object of the practice of the legal profession? I ask myself, and I am asking your views.
Sir, I think I would like to hear you anything more than that, because I also often feel, have we really done something to the cause of justice? Exactly. Sir, please enlighten.
Cause of justice. Plus, we must leave behind, when time has come to hang our boots, we should have trained youngsters. Okay. We should have mentored them. Not mentored them in just reading Criminal Procedure Code, Civil Procedure Code, BNS, BNSS, or Evidence Act or Contract Act. Today, the youngsters are very smart.
Yes, sir.
They are smarter than what we were when we were their age.
I'll just stop you, sir. I think our seniors also felt that we were smarter.
Exactly.
So for our previous generation, we were smart, and the next generation is smarter than us. Certainly.
You are right.
Yes.
Now, what is it therefore that we should give to the younger generation who come to us?
Okay.
First, of course, is the ethics in the practice of the profession. No question about it. It is not written anywhere.
Correct. These are unwritten.
There are certain things that you have to do. There are certain things which you should not do. And on certain things, there is no compromise.
Okay. Yes.
It is either black or white. There is no grey.
So please put it little bit so that we know.
Yes. I'll come back to it. The second is to give a holistic approach to the personality of the youngster.
That is you say that's the role of a senior to give that approach to the junior.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
You see, not only should you guide them in law, in the practice of the profession, the guidance must be how to lead a good life.
Good life. Okay. Yes.
Now, what are the constituents of a good life?
Okay.
Constituents of a good life is, one, to be a good human being.
Yes, of course.
First and foremost.
Yes, sir.
Second, you should be knowledgeable. Knowledgeable in what? Not only in law. You should have a knowledge of several things.
So you are saying you expand the senior should expand the canvas not only to law but to life as well.
Absolutely.
And that is when you will be able to guide the next generation.
That is how you should guide. See, for example, let us take English literature, first example.
Okay.
Now, should not one read the classics in English literature? You must read Shakespeare. Why? You must read it because there are so many characters in Shakespeare. Good, virtuous, bad, criminal. You must be able to see everything, and that's what you will see in life. So you see, if you have to be a good lawyer, you should be able to understand human personality, thinking and behavior.
So can I sum up this way, sir?
Yes, sure.
You have given a very Oxford or Cambridge meaning way of English literature. I remember reading somewhere, our DVG, sir, DV Gundappa, he says a guide should be like a shopkeeper, for example. He says a shopkeeper who knows what his customer wants. So when the customer comes, he knows that this customer buys this all the time and has an interest in this. So he is a person who says, see, there is something new that has come in the market regarding this. Would you be interested to look? So that is what you are, of course, he must be doing it from the business point of view. But what DVG says is, that should be the role of a guide.
Right.
The guide should know what the youngster wants and not actually foothold them or hold them by hand, but give them a guidance. Like ontara kai mara iro tara. Like you are just like a signboard. Where the student wants to go, the student will choose, but the guide should show the right direction.
That's correct. That's
so
correct.
I think from for our index contest,
right. And
this how.
Let us add one more. Today, the youngsters don't need to be told too much of what to do.
What to do.
They're all quite good at the game.
Yeah, okay.
But what they should be told.
Yeah, what they lack.
What lack. Not to do.
What do they lack?
What do they lack? Or what not to do.
What not to do. Yes, okay.
Because there are so many pressures from all quarters. You have peer pressure. You have pressure for money. You have attractions. Now,
distractions.
And distractions. You're absolutely right. Now, how do you
bring them all
everything?
together? Yes.
You have to balance it.
Yes.
I mean, you are in the profession not with altruistic
attitude at all.
That is,
I think those days are gone.
And that I think is actually, I think a statement today which is not good.
Not good. Yes.
But, of course, in the profession, you earn money. What is important to be told is saying don't earn money is not what you should
tell them.
Nobody is going to accept that.
Yeah.
How to earn it.
To earn. Okay.
Next, having earned it, how to spend it.
Okay.
Now, this is a very important aspect of being a good human being, which according to me, as I just said a few minutes ago, is the basic qualification to be a lawyer. If you are not a good human being, you may be learned in the law, but you are useless.
Well said, sir. Well said. So, some tips for these youngsters, how any incident or something that can guide them to say what is it that they shouldn't do. Ethics, you said you will come back to it.
Now, for example, first and foremost aspect of ethics is give a patient hearing to a client.
Yes.
I think that is ethical practice. Maybe more than 50% of what the client has told you is irrelevant for the purpose of the case.
Yes.
But you are not simply
doing just that case. You are holistically looking at the entire, what is that your client really wants.
And
yes.
Many a time, a client would want a shoulder.
At least to share some difficulties. Correct.
It's all right, but you say, don't waste my time. All this is irrelevant for the case. Well, you are entitled to say it, but is this the right way of saying it?
Okay.
You must therefore, give a patient hearing to the client, and that according to me is ethical practice of the profession.
Okay. Yes.
You should be able to.
Then also you'll also be able to put what you have heard into a pleading.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it will be very difficult if you not even heard properly.
I will tell you one experience I had. It was a small eviction case where my client, who was a tenant of a shop, maybe 10 by 12 or something, was running a small shop. The gentleman was very particular. He said, "Sir, we had to fight this case. The landlord doesn't need this premises. They're harassing us for more rent." It went on for some time, and one day the gentleman and the lady both came. This gentleman, as usual, was very firm, very assertive of his right and all that. After he finished talking and left, that lady came back to my chambers and said, "Sir, I want to talk to you for a few minutes. Can you ask my husband to be outside?"
Okay.
I said, "Sure." I told the gentleman, ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಕಂತೆ
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆಚೆ
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಒಂದು few minutes. So this lady said, "Sir, this ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೇಡ ಸರ್, ಈ ವ್ಯಾಜ್ಯ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ ಬೇಡ ಸರ್. ಸರ್ ನೋಡಿ ಸರ್, ನನಗೆ ಒಬ್ಬಳು ಮಗಳಿದ್ದಾಳೆ ಸರ್.
ಓಕೆ.
ನಾನು ಅವಳಿಗೆ ಮದುವೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಸರ್. ಯಾರು ಗಂಡು ಕೊಡೋರು ಬಂದು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ನೀವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಏನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಗಂಡು ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ.
ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್.
ನಮ್ಮ ಮಗಳು ಮದುವೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ದು ಅಂಗಡಿ ಇದೆ, ನಾವು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನೋ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ಕೋತಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಗೊಂದು 3 ವರ್ಷ ಟೈಮ್ ಕೊಡಿಸ್ಬಿಡಿ ಸರ್. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಬೇಡ, ಏನು ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. Now that opened my eyes to reality. Now, was that fact relevant? No.
It was not relevant for the pleadings, for sure, but it was relevant in your mind. So you will structure your case in such a way that your end result you will come to that.
Ultimately, we got the 3 years. That lady was so happy. She invited me for her daughter's marriage also.
Oh, how nice. How nice.
See, this opened my eyes to say, well, is the practice of
what is the role of an advocate? How much is it? It is something beyond just
what you see in paper.
Pleadings and submissions in court.
There is something more. There is an emotional content to the practice of law.
Okay.
And one thing that I keep telling my young colleagues is, you see, especially when they are part of a law firm.
Correct.
Or we do so much of corporate litigation where there is no emotional content.
Yes, correct.
I said, be very careful.
When you do
only this at this stage of your life. It is all right for me at my stage in life,
where you are more matured,
and so I have gone through it.
You have seen it all.
Ups and downs of individuals' life. If at the age of 25, 28 you are only looking at corporate clients, you are only looking at the file and not a face behind the file.
And how much am I going to give the best to this corporate client? In what tricks am I going to employ to see that I give the best?
But what about the emotional content? It is in a corporate litigation, emotional content
is almost
non-existent. So if that is non-existent, then am I a holistic lawyer? Am I doing my job as a professional? And as Roscoe Pound said, a lawyer is a social engineer.
Oh, okay. So I will put it this way. Like I am a young, let's say I was a youngster in a corporate firm. Their argument would be that if I don't do this, somebody else will do. 1.
Correct.
2 is I have to be abreast. I know what is required to be done. If I'm going to be emotional and if I'm going to be very ethical, it's not going to work. So I won't get promotions. I won't be able to enjoy the best cars that are there. So how do we balance this?
Correct.
Everybody has to do some Faustian bargains in the profession. So where do you say we should draw this line?
That is what a lawyer must do all the time, be a split personality.
Explain that.
I'll explain that. Now, of course, when you're in a law firm, you read the files, you do your best, you earn your money. But at the end of the day, when you have put the file away and then retire, not from the profession, retire
for the day.
You then say, what is the situation of those who are helping me at home? Look at the life of my maidservant. Look at the life of my cook. Look at the life of somebody else.
All my supporting staff.
All my support. Now, how does that match with the work that I've done today? How relevant is all that I did today for them? Irrelevant.
Okay.
But how can I make their life comfortable? With what I have earned?
Yes.
Yes. How can I make their life comfortable? Not necessarily money.
That's what, sir. How do you
find out what the difficulties are which they are facing?
Okay.
And if out of your experience that you have gained, you are able to tell them, no, do it this way. Be patient. Don't be impatient about certain things. Maybe somebody, one of those helpers is going through a domestic issue. You need to tell them, look.
At least give a lending ear. Be empathetic to that.
And say, be patient.
Okay.
ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ದುಡುಕ್ಬೇಡ.
ದುಡುಕ್ಬೇಡ, correct.
Don't take a hasty step.
Okay.
Because that hasty step can ruin situations. All that is required is some patience at the... So that also has to get into our mind.
Exactly. So what you're trying to say is, if I am able to have that empathy to somebody or be conscious of what is happening around, my mind also will subconsciously works towards that, and it will reflect in my work.
And it will be a happy blend.
Of both human
and commercial.
And commercial.
And
of course, your target, whatever your target is.
See, it requires an effort. It requires one to remind himself or herself that there is something beyond what you see in this file.
Just preparing a good brief and presenting
there's something more.
A great argument in the court. There's something more. For an, and I think at least if you have not achieved, at least you should start now. And that is all evolving work, constant work. Constant it goes.
Constant. And one other thing also that we have to remember, and that I think is very important. Practice of the legal profession is not only for the purpose of exhibiting your brilliance. Behind you is somebody who wants relief.
Yes.
So how can I get relief to my client?
Yes.
Keeping aside all the fine nuances of law that you may argue for days and days and days.
Great. Yes, sir.
So therefore, you have to see, now in this case there are 10 points. Out of which 9 points may be brilliant legal arguments, you argue one way or the other, whatever the judgment is, it will be hailed as a judgment which has taken the jurisprudence one step forward. Is the client interested in it?
No. He is interested in relief.
He is interested in the 10th point, where some justice, something happens.
Okay.
And that, if you project as a point in equity, I think would have done justice.
That's nice.
Otherwise, it is only fanning your own ego.
So now I'm able to kind of understand from how you have, structured your whole career and why you are in this position where you are. And I hope our viewers are also able to catch what you are actually wanting to say.
Thank you. All of you have done it. There's nothing new. I mean, all of us owe it.
To our profession, to our next generation.
To our next generation.